Hi guys, today I'm going to be doing a new video. Of course, a new video. Today I'm going to be doing a video on the new Born This Way Super Coverage Multi-Use Sculpting Concealers from Too Faced. Now these came out at the same time as new foundations, which were in collaboration with Jackie Anna. I don't think these are part of the collaboration with Jackie, it's just the foundation as far as I'm aware. But I have done a review on that, and if I've already put that up then I will link that here. If not, then I will link it up here when it's done. But I went ahead and I bought two of the concealers. The two colours that I picked were warm beige and warm sand. First of all, I really like this packaging. I think it's super cute. I love the way Too Faced incorporate light pink with gold and black. It's so cute. It's got all the information on the side of the box, which is great. It's got similar ingredients to the foundation. Also great. It's got coconut water, which is good for keeping the skin's moisture levels up. It's got alpine rose, which is good at giving more radiance and elasticity to the skin. And it's got hyaluronic acid, which will plump the skin up and make it look more youthful. All those things are really good for your skin. The concealer looks like this. It's a huge concealer. It's 15 ml. The old concealers from Too Faced used to be 7 ml. This is the old Naturally Radiant concealer, and this is the new Born This Way concealer. You can see that it's twice the size, which is amazing. The applicator for this is a diamond shape, so you can see that it's a point at the top and then it comes down on the sides. It's not like a normal doe foot applicator, and that's really nice when you want to get into the inner corners and when you want to get into like spots and stuff. You can just turn it the other way around and pinpoint conceal, which is really nice. It's got like a little stopper in there, so not all the liquid comes out, which is also great. Packaging is not a huge thing for me. I'm not obsessed with it generally. I just like it to be well thought out, and I like it to be easy to use. This packaging is really well thought out. I'm just gonna talk you through my experience with this because it was a long one. Grab yourself some tea. So I hear that Too Faced are coming out with new concealers, so I'm like, yay, let's see what they've got. It comes out as a super coverage multi-use sculpting concealer. Conceal, contour, highlight and retouch. I don't like the way that they marketed this. Now I see why they did it, because the way that people are using concealer these days is as highlights and contours, and that's not the way concealer is meant to be used generally in professional makeup. The way that concealer is used is whatever your foundation can't cover. If you've got more blemishes, if you've got more dark spots, pigmentations, if you've got like anything which shows through your foundation, professional makeup artists use concealer, which is a thicker coverage than foundation, to hide those areas. So for example, under my eyes I'll have pigmentation. I'll put foundation all over my face, but my under eyes will still come through. That is what I'm going to conceal. This area here, where foundation doesn't cover that spot, pigmentation comes through, I'll conceal that spot. Recently, the way that people are highlighting with concealers has changed the way people use and view a concealer's use. So although I don't like the way that they marketed this, because I don't like the way people use concealers like this, I say that, but I have used concealers to highlight my face before, but not in the way that I know some people use this, and I've seen some people use this. I just don't like it. I feel like it encourages people to use way too much product. People who aren't really into makeup and they see people use a lot of makeup and they're like, oh, that's exactly what I should look like. No, that's not what you should look like. Do whatever you want to do. This kind of paves the way into that highlight, contour, concealer use technique more, which isn't for everyone. So although this is marketed to highlight and contour, I would just use it the way I would use a normal concealer, and when I do that I like the product much more. I'll explain more in my demonstrations. So the colors. Shopping for these concealers was next to impossible, and I'll show you why. Because on my face today I used the warm beige, and I'll put a picture up here somewhere of the girl Too Faced thought warm beige would look good on, and as you can see we look exactly the same. We couldn't look more different. So when I go to the Too Faced website, I don't look anything like this girl, but that's the kind of skin tone they think this shade is good for. Although I might use that as a natural concealer kind of for her, I wouldn't use it as a highlight and contour concealer for her. I would use it as a highlight contour concealer for myself, and I only realized that when I watched so many others tutorials and reviews and swatches. So picking these two shades was really difficult. The warm sand, the girl in the picture, which I'll I'll put up here is a bit more deeper skin than I am, but I know that I can make that color work because my under eyes are a lot darker than my face area, so I can blend it out and make it work. The color which they describe that I generally go for in a concealer is sand. I watch endless videos on people using sand concealer and I didn't like any of them. I just thought they all looked ashy. It wasn't as golden as I thought it should be, the way that they described. It just looks so bad almost on the people who used the sand color, and that's just my opinion. I'm not saying that the people who used sand, they looked horrible. They didn't look horrible. It was just I personally would not put that color on them because it didn't look flattering. So after watching so many reviews trying to convince myself that sand was the right color for me, I went one above, which is warm beige, and one below, which is warm sand, and I came across so many other videos, so many YouTubers who were even darker than me, and they were using warm beige, which Too Faced put on a blonde Caucasian girl. So yeah, I need somebody at Too Faced to explain why they color matched that girl to this color. If Too Faced needs some help color matching their people, I mean, I'd be happy to do that. Too Faced. Too Faced. You can call me if you need me to help you color match your concealers. I'm just messing around. There's no shade towards Too Faced. I just don't like the way that these were marketed, and I just don't like the way that they were color matched because I found it really hard to pick my colors. So with that being said, I'm just going to go into the demonstration. I used warm sand on my right side of my face. The reason being is because over here I have an area of pigmentation. It's better to use deeper concealers on those because it will color correct that, make it the right tone for my face. The left side of my face I'm using warm beige. I don't like using this on my bare skin like I like using warm sand on my bare skin. With warm sand I can just basically put it on in the areas that I need concealer and walk out the door. With warm beige I need to blend it a tiny bit more because it is more of a lighter concealer, even though it has that peachiness under it. So when I use foundations I can go in with warm beige and conceal my under eyes, and it will brighten my under eye a bit more than normal. I generally don't go that far back with my concealers or my foundation. I don't really like to have the outer side of my face covered in too much liquid product. I prefer using powders on the outside of my face because I'm always touching my face or got my hand somewhere or on my phone, and I just don't like that product to go onto my phone or my hand or whatever. So I generally just like start at the middle and blend my way out. Now I also put concealer around my mouth as well because I like it to lift my lips, especially when I'm not smiling. I'm generally like this, and that's just my face, so I've just had to get used to that. I'm actually wearing warm beige on both sides of my face right now. It looks really nice when paired with a foundation. It doesn't look overly white, it doesn't look grey. It's got a really nice peachy undertone. Okay, so I currently have my brows on and I've got the Born This Way foundation on. I'm just going to put this directly under my eyes. And that is it. I'm only going to go in with this much for now because I feel like if you go in with any more products it's going to be too much. So I tend to conceal here as well around my mouth. I put a tiny bit up here because this is the area that breaks down easily, and I feel like concealer is a longer lasting coverage than foundation. So I'll button it up a bit, bring it down my nose. I don't want to bring it too much. That's it. And using the Fenty sponge, I'm just going to blend that out. It blends out really easily. It's not drying out the under eyes like the Tarte Shape Tape. If you put too much of the Tarte Shape Tape on, your under eyes are going to feel like it's sucking the life out of your skin. So just go in with a small layer first and just blend that all out. It's blending out really nicely to the foundation. I would go in with a tiny bit more here, and here, here, and here. I feel like this is a nice colour to highlight the centre of my face. It's so radiant as well. It's not drying at all. I really like the way this feels. I'm just going to go ahead and set my face and do the rest of my makeup, and then I'll come back and talk to you about my final thoughts. I feel like Too Faced are really paving the way for concealers because most people tend to use concealer more than foundation. Most people I know anyway, because they just want to cover any of the pigmentation, the dark circles, everything. And you can just do that with concealer and you don't really need foundation. foundations on a normal day. A lot of people have been comparing these concealers to the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, and I'm not entirely sure why, because they're both really different. Although they're both full coverage, a lot of concealers are full coverage. That's what they're meant to do. This one is more dewy and radiant and satiny kind of finish. This one is a pure matte finish. Although I like the Tarte Shape Tape, I find it a bit more drying, so I can't use it as a full coverage. You know how you see some people on Instagram and YouTube, you see them using this all over their under eye, and then you try it at home and you're like, this doesn't look like how she looks. I find that people use way too much product than you actually meant to. Whereas this one looks really nice and radiant on your under eyes. Out of the two, I would generally go for this kind of finish because I love radiant under eyes. I don't like it feeling too dry under there. If I want it to look more matte, then I can just add powder. Tarte Shape Tape in medium and the Born This Way concealer in warm beige are really similar. I think the warm beige is slightly warmer than the Tarte Shape Tape, but you can't really tell once they're on the eye. What you can compare this to are the Born This Way Naturally Radiant concealers. This concealer is so beautiful. I use it almost every day under my eyes. It's just got a really nice thin consistency, but it's full coverage. It covers all my pigmentation under my eyes and it just brightens up that area really nicely. I look naturally glowing, and I've noticed this does the same thing. This is just a tiny bit thicker than this one, but they basically work the same. If I had to compare the two, this will give you more of a natural finish and this will give you more of a glam finish. Not to say that you can't make this natural. This one is just much thinner and easier to work with if you're looking for a no makeup kind of look. Even though this was really difficult to choose color wise and I don't really like the way that it was marketed, it is a really nice concealer. It's radiant, it's dewy, it's satin, everything that I look for. It's full coverage, it's not too thick either. I love the fact that it's so big. It's gonna last me so long. It almost felt like the Pro Longwear concealer from MAC, and they are like my holy grail product. Those are what I compare every other concealers to, and this is almost up there with that. The only reason I can't say they are on par is because I haven't tried this long enough. I know my Pro Longwear is going to last me all night. It's not going to clock out early, whereas this I still need to try it out to see if it's at that level. Overall, I think it's a really nice concealer. I think if you're looking for a new concealer and you want to try this one, I would definitely give it a go. If you're fortunate enough to live somewhere where you can go and try it out, then that's great. If not, I would watch as many reviews as you can on YouTube, look at so many pictures online. I wouldn't go by what Too Faced have on their website because it threw me off. I found it hard looking for my shade. I think it would be really difficult for a normal consumer to find their shade, but that is that. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say about that. If you try this concealer, let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are. If you enjoyed watching this video, give it a thumbs up, please subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!